A US move to ban Chinese drones will lead to the deaths of Americans, workers in the emergency services warned.
The lives of men and women are at risk.
The US government demanded that Chinese engineers add tracking hardware to their drones and then announced it would ban Chinese drones because they contain tracking hardware. The war on Chinese drones has been done so badly that it's left American drone makers even more upset than the Chinese ones. Here's the breaking story. US emergency services are warning that people will die as politicians in the US launch a plan to ban rescue drones, purely because they're made by Chinese engineers. More than 90% of commercial drones used in the country are made by Dji of Shenzhen. But they're all set to be grounded as extreme anti-China policies are pushed by both major US political parties. Now, rescue workers in America are sounding the alarm, saying that the Chinese drones save lives. US-made drones are not yet able to rescue people lost in the mountains or in wilderness areas or whatever. American drones do exist. There are hundreds of drone companies, with the loudest one being a firm called Skydio. But emergency service workers say US drones cost far more, have fewer features, can't fly in the dark, burst into flames sometimes, and just fall out of the sky. That's what rescue workers told a public meeting on the subject. Also, the grounding of Chinese drones will cost a fortune and hurt the environment, limit disaster response efforts, and put the lives of first responders as well as the lives of missing persons and others at risk.
A memo released by the U.S. Department of Interior showed that these drones are 8 to 14 times more expensive and only possess 20% of the effective desired equipment that the current DJI drone fleet possesses.
Here's what you don't do. You don't come to the Florida State Senate and hand up a piece of paper when the lives of men and women are at risk if we go and use that shit technology. You hear what I'm saying? These are men's and women's lives.
Now, senior staff from Skydio have teamed up with anti-China US politicians, saying it's confident it can fill the gap with a few nice fat government subsidies. But rescuers disagree. Skydio has the worst reputation in public safety for all of the political posturing the company has taken, said Kyle Nordfors, UAS chairman for the Mountain Rescue Association. There's no way that Skydio can claim to be for helping public safety when its lobbying efforts have helped to strip agencies of life-saving tools. Nordfors said this in Drone XL, a major industry information site. But dig a little and one soon finds out the situation is even more absurd than it seems. This potential ban is a uniquely American cluster beep that is arguably even worse than the TikTok ban in its absurdity because of the specifics of how we got here. There's no evidence that China is spying on DJI drones, said Jason Kerbler in 404 Media. The drone features that make lawmakers worried about spying were originally introduced because of US regulations and government pressure. So, did you get that? Let me explain. Many DJI drones were built with cameras for rescue operations, but did not include internet infrastructure. Now, the US government pressured DJI to include geofencing and tracking features. The Chinese firm obeyed, and then the government listed those features as the reason why the Chinese drones should be banned. It's the usual story, look what's inside them, these are national security risks. Essentially, the US government pressured drone manufacturers to implement privacy and safety features that required internet infrastructure to operate. DJI built those features, and now lawmakers say those same features could be used by China to spy on Americans, and they're the reason for the ban, said Kerbler. This is all part of America's war against free trade. In other words, US politicians are doing their usual thing, boasting about freedom and capitalism in public, while fighting war against freedom and capitalism in practice. Now, they have a three-part plan here. First, slap heavy duties on all drones made by Chinese companies so no one can afford them. Second, pass laws restricting the use of Chinese drones in certain sectors. And third, give big financial subsidies to US drone makers like Skydio. Normally, US business people can see the benefits of unfair protectionism, keep the Chinese out. But people in the drone industry in the US are upset because of the behavior of Skydio, which has a curiously close relationship with politicians. Now, Drone XL, the drone industry website, printed the remarks of a pilot trainer from Dallas named Mark Colborn, who tried a Skydio drone. Tried to fly it further than about 1,500 feet and it totally loses signal. Oh, and couldn't fly it at night either. We begged you guys for 5 years to give us a drone with a decent thermal camera, not an essentially useless digitally enhanced 320p, and when you did, you made us pay extra to use it. He's clearly not a happy man. The site also quoted Louis Figueiredo, a public safety UAS program developer. Instead of prioritizing real progress, Skydio chose the lobbying route, eliminating competition at the expense of the very communities and agencies they claim to serve. There's so much irony in this story. DJI is a textbook example of capitalism at its best. As I've mentioned before, DJI was founded by a student named Frank Wang in a university dorm in Hong Kong with a tiny grant. He focused on meticulous research and development, creative design, and high-quality production. The result was that the firm became the world leader. What US politicians are doing is a textbook example of dark politics, overruling free trade and the rule of law and common sense, just the sort of thing they're always accusing China of doing. But perhaps the most ridiculous of all the accusations against DJI is the constant claim that it is linked to the Chinese military. The truth is that DJI is a company set up by an entrepreneur, and its customers include a wide range of people, including Western military forces. Oops, forget the sanctions against China. US-based supporters of the Israeli military are buying large numbers of drones from Dji of Shenzhen. They'll be put to use in the skies over Israel-Palestine. This is all a bit awkward because the US government put DJI on an investment blacklist in 2021 as punishment for being successful. This is all part of the current US war against capitalism, hidden behind made-up words such as de-risking. Chinese drones dominate the world market, being efficient and easy to use, and about a fifth of the price of US drones. The modern global drone industry came from a grant that the Hong Kong government gave to a student named Frank Wang at Hong Kong University of Science and Technology. That was in 2006, but the US still has not been able to catch up. Probably not a bad thing. Now look at Skydio, the US firm that wants to replace DJI. These are people on an advisory board Skydio has set up. Yes, it's wall-to-wall military people. They don't even cover this up. They're proud of it. What can you and I do about this? Well, if you can afford this, go out and buy a DJI drone. They're by far the easiest to set up and use. If you can't afford one, just like and share this video so at least the true story gets out there. Meanwhile, next time you visit the United States, watch out for American drones. According to their own users, they can't see in the dark, sometimes burst into flames, and sometimes fall out of the sky. So keep your eyes peeled.